Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you had a wonderful 2017 and you're ready for 2018. So welcome to our first call. It's an exciting call because we've got lots of good new things happening. But as usual, all those new good things happening take back seat to you guys doing your 5-minute moneymaker. And what last week's was giving you a picture that paints 1,000 words. Here's a simple table that illustrates why the next market downturn is going to happen sooner rather than later. We don't know when it's going to happen. But do you think we're closer to the beginning or the end of the bull market? And I've been saying this for 6 months, but I'll keep saying it because every month that goes by puts us closer to the end or the beginning. And then the tape breakdown, we don't know, why don't we know how the client's accounts are titled? Why we need to use props. Make sure you listen to that one as well. So what we're going to roll out today is our 2018 marketing plan. So the reason we want to do that is how many, and I want everybody here to be answering this, how many of you want to be a top earner over the next year? So to me, a top earner is somebody in that top 5% of all financial advisors. And to be in the top 5% of all financial advisors, you need to be making over $500,000 a year. So I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 people out of the 80 people we have in the call right now, and more people coming in. Okay, we're getting a whole bunch of yeses. So to be a top earner, here's how I view it. What we should have the most of, what do you think we should have the most of? Well, first of all, before you answer what we should have the most of, what do you think most financial advisors think they should have the most of? What do they think, what do most financial advisors look at the base or the foundation of their success? Yeah, Dave's got it. Tom's got it. Yeah, everybody's getting it. Most financial advisors that are not trained from 5Q think marketing is the base to how much money they have that they're making. I believe it's accountability. When after 8 years of making 50 grand a year, guess what? The one change that I made, there was that caused all sorts of other changes. I made one change that caused all sorts of other positive changes. And what was that change that I made after making 8 years? Stop making excuses, Dave. Exactly right. I held myself accountable. If I have something that people want, and I'm in front of people, then there's only one reason I'm not making huge amounts of money, which is the thing in the middle. Because if I got something they want, and I'm in front of people, the only thing that's in the between there is me. So I am the problem. So accountability is the biggest thing. So holding yourself accountable for doing the 5-minute drill, holding yourself accountable for doing your 15-minute drill every single morning to get better and better and better, holding yourself accountable to tape your meetings and review those meetings. So holding yourself accountable is the first thing, because if you can be great at everything else, but if you don't hold yourself accountable, well, think about this. Are there athletes that have ungodly amounts of talent that don't hold themselves accountable, and what do they end up being? There's athletes with ungodly amounts of talent, but they don't hold themselves accountable. And what do they end up being? Do they ever end up at the Hall of Fame? Yeah, has-beens, exactly. They end up being has-beens, bums. So you got to hold yourself accountable. The second most important thing is the 21-point checklist, motivation interviewing, and those 15-minute drills, getting awesome at GOTS. That's the second most important thing. So what do you think the last thing is? What do you think the last thing is? If we hold people accountable and we're awesome at the 21 motivation interviewing and GOTS, we eventually have to get in front of what? People. Yeah, marketing. But is this the way most people in this industry view their success? Or is it the complete opposite? Yeah, it's a complete opposite. This is the way to success. So today we're going to talk about marketing. Now, because marketing equals getting in front of good prospects, right? Nicholas has got it. Dave's got it. Marketing is getting in front of good prospects, right? I'm getting a lot of, boy, you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. You're all saying no. That's right, no. Because if marketing got us in front of good prospects, who would be out of a job? Us. We would. Why? Why would we be out of a job? Because marketing got us in front of good prospects, people that were pre-sold, ready to buy. Guess who wouldn't need us anymore? The mutual fund companies, the insurance companies, the money management companies, they would get rid of us. We're their biggest expense. So marketing is not equal getting in front of good prospects, because marketing is just going to get you in front of tire kickers and plate lickers. It's going to get us in front of crap. So everybody out there looking for great marketing is after something that does not exist. If it existed, we would be out of a job. So what marketing does is get you in front of people who are tire kickers and plate lickers. They're just looking for ideas. They're just they want to get some free stuff out of you. They're crap. So what's the beauty of the 21-point checklist? What does the 21-point checklist turn crap into? What is the 21? That's right. The 21-point checklist turns crap into gold. It turns people who are tire kickers and plate lickers into people who move all their money to you. So how do we make $1 million a year? Now, remember, I made $1 million a year back in 1999 after 3 of the best years in stock market history. And I did it with nurses, IBM engineers, and teachers. The nurses and the IBM engineers had fantastic Mayo pension and IBM pension. So if I did the same thing today as I did back then, how much more money would I make? If I did the exact same thing, saw the exact same people, how much more money would I make? Yeah, at least double, because they don't have pensions anymore. Mayo doesn't have a pension anymore. IBM doesn't have a pension anymore. So there's so much more money in 401ks that if I had just done the same thing, I would have gotten much more money, even if I didn't have a better closing ratio, even if I didn't see more people, if I did the exact same thing. So when I say how to make $1 million a year, you guys should be able to make $2 million a year doing the exact same thing that I did. So of these things, getting in front of clients, which is marketing, transactions, or closing ratio, what's going to make you the most money? Being good at getting in front of people. Yeah, the closing ratio. The higher the closing ratio, the better. Because it's the transactions that you have, the amount of people you close, that's going to make you the most money. Now, the difference between 5Q and virtually any other FMO out there is how do our sales transactions differ from almost every other FMO out there? We move all the money. We get all the money. We don't go from the mentality of, well, just get a piece and then build that relationship. No, it's easier to get all the money than some of the money. So our sales transactions are bigger and our sales closing ratio is higher. What should your closing rate, if you're good at the 21-point checklist, what should your closing ratio be? Yeah, 95 to 98. I agree with that, Raymond. And the people that you let go are people because you don't want them, not that you couldn't get them. Now, why? Why do we know that the 21-point checklist, the motivational interviewing, the 5Q system, why do we know it has a 95 to 98% closing ratio? Because we have 50,000 tapes archived, because we've actually had advisors do close to 65,000 meetings? No. Have you ever seen the tapes? That's not the reason. Yeah, we have the tapes. You never listen to them. So why? Think about this. Why do we have a 95 to 98% closing ratio with the 5Q system? How many open-ended questions? Dave gets it. Mark gets it. Jerry gets it. Jonathan gets it. So when I made the $1 million in 1999, I was asking 2 open-ended questions per minute. Today, I ask 5, 6 questions per minute, open-ended questions per minute. So you don't have to ask 5 or 6. If you simply ask 2 open-ended questions a minute, 2 open-ended questions a minute for the entire time they're in there. Let's say they're in there for an hour and a half or 2 hours. That means 90 minutes to 120 minutes. So anywhere between 180 and 240 open-ended questions. And what are those open-ended questions having what are the answers to all those open-ended questions? What is the client telling themselves when they answer those open-ended questions? What are they telling themselves? Yes, they need to move. Their guy sucks. They need to change. They need to change because they have bad investments? No. What is it truly? The one guy had, Nicholas, you got it nailed. Not that they need to change. It is that they need to change. It is that they have bad advisors. They have the motivation. That's right, Till. The motivation of what their entity that they're working with, their do-it-yourselfer, or if they're working with an advisor, the motivation for that advisor not covering the things that they should have been covering. So the reason I bring that up is so when we roll out the marketing, we're going to get you in front of a ton of people. So when you start getting in front of these people, if you're in front of 10 prospects, and prospects are good people, or are they tire kickers, plate lickers, people who love their advisor, do-it-yourselfers? I'm talking about getting in front of tire kickers, plate lickers, people who love their advisor and do-it-yourselfers. Anybody else who tells you getting in front of somebody else and other than that is crazy. So if you're in front of those 10 prospects with this marketing, when should you reach out to myself or Jeff for help? If you only close 5 of them, if you only close 9 of them, or if you only close 3 of them? What's your closing? What should your closing ratio be? So you got it, Andre. You got it, Wade. Yes, that's right. So you got it, Mark. 9, because if your closing ratio is supposed to be 90%, 95%, 98%, if you close less than 9 people out of 10, that means you need to what, guys? There's something wrong, and you need to what? Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, and here's the thing, guys. The things that we're going to look at, and Mike's already alluded to it, they're not going to get you in front of pre-sold people. They're going to be the same tire kickers, plate lickers, people who love their advisors, DIYers that you've always gotten in front of, but they'll have money. And do we care if we get in front of these kinds of people if we have the 21? No, because even tire kickers and plate lickers don't like to be taken advantage of. Even people who love their advisors don't like to be taken advantage of. DIYers don't like to be taken advantage of. So we just need to get in front of people who have money. And if we get in front of people who have money, no matter where they come from, we're going to close them, because we have that tool that gets people with money, no matter where they come from, to say, we want to move, we want to make a change. Our guy, it doesn't know, doesn't care, is doing this on purpose. We want to move. So the way I look at it is, these are all things that you're about to see. They're inexpensive ways to get in front of people with money. And they're great because regardless of your experience or your skill level, you can close these people. But again, that said, it's not the marketing that makes you the money. Like Mike talked about at the beginning, we're kind of coming full circle. If you have something that they want, and we all have things that people want, and they don't buy it, and the only thing between them and the thing they want is you, then is the problem the marketing or is the problem you? It's not the marketing. So when you look at these things, don't say, oh, well, these are going to be tire. Yes, they're going to be tire kickers. Oh, but these are going to be plate. Yes, they're going to be plate lickers. There's going to be a lot of yes, there's going to be a lot of do-it-yourselfers. Is that okay as long as they have money if I'm good at what I do? Yeah. So don't say it's the marketing. If you're good at what you do, you'll close people no matter where they come from. And you guys are in control in how good you are at what you do. And that's what we do. We help you get better at what you do.
And as Jeff said, when you're in control, it's liberating. It's liberating because if you don't close even the worst of prospects, here's the great thing. Because when I was only making 50 grand a year, guess how, did I feel good or did I feel bad? When I was making 50 grand, I felt bad. I felt bad. I thought it was, I wish I would have thought, if I thought it was, well, some days, I think in the back of my head, I thought it was my fault, but consciously, I didn't think it was my fault. I thought it was the product's fault. I thought it was the market's fault. I thought it was interest rates' fault. I thought it was low participation rates of the product's fault. I thought it was the marketing's fault. I always thought it was somebody. I wish I would have thought it was my fault, but I didn't. It was always somebody else's fault. But here's why it's liberating. If you don't close 9 out of 10 of the worst possible prospects, as long as they have money, the worst possible prospects, if you don't close 9 out of 10 and you're doing what we ask you to do, whose fault is it? If you're doing what we ask you to do, you're doing the 21. No, if you're doing the 20, you're right. I see what you're saying, but I'm not phrasing my question very. Yes, Robert gets it. If you're doing the 21-point checklist, you're asking at least 2 open-ended questions per minute. So you're doing the motivational interviewing. If you're doing it the exact way I'm asking you to do it, and it doesn't close these people, that's right. Everybody's getting it now. It's my fault. That's the most liberating thing in the world. So at this point, there's nothing worse than not understanding or not knowing, I don't know why this isn't working. I don't know why this isn't working. I don't know why this isn't working. That's horrible. Guys, when you're not closing people, isn't it horrible when you wonder, why didn't that work? What was the problem? What did I do wrong? There's nothing worse than that thought, because not knowing, if you're ill, do you think it's, I know this is kind of a cruel thing, but do you think somebody who's ill, is it better for them to know I have cancer, or to be wondering, I don't know what I have? Which one's worse? If they feel the exact same way, that's right. Everybody's saying it's better to know. It's better to know, which means it's worse not knowing. So there's nothing worse than we didn't know why we're not closing the deal. Because when we think that, we come up with all sorts of silly things. But it's now you know there's one reason it's not working, and that is I'm doing something that could be improved. I'm going to reach out to Jeff and Mike, figure out what that is. So guess what? If you do that, what's going to happen, guys? If you're not closing 9 out of 10, you reach out to Jeff and myself, what's going to happen? You're going to get better, Nicholas. Exactly. You're going to get better. So the difference between the hardest, lowest paying job in the world, or the easiest high paying job in the world. I tell my kids, you know what? Sales is either the hardest low paying job in the world or the easiest high paying job in the world. And what's the difference between those two? Your closing ratio. Because when you're good at closing crappy people, when you're good at closing tire kickers, good at closing tire leaders, good at closing people who love their advisor, good at closing people who have no intention of leaving where they currently are, do-it-yourselfers. When you're good at that, guess what you now have? The hardest low-paying job in the world or the easiest high-paying job in the world? You have the easiest, highest-paying. Guys, when you look at how much people are paid, I'm amazed at this. You look at the highest-paying jobs in this country. How much do we get paid as compared to the highest paying jobs, J-O-B-S, in this country? More, Raymond, exactly more, if you're good. So, to make $1 million in income, a lot of guys think, I need great marketing, I need fast marketing. And over the years, I've gotten guys, and Missy, have we gotten hundreds of guys in front of 300 or more people a year?
We definitely have, absolutely.
And at the end of the year, if they're not making what they want, guess what they blame, guys? The marketing. Guys, how many, just not thinking, don't do the math. I want some just knee-jerk reactions. How many people do you need to close to make $1 million a year? Knee-jerk reaction. Don't do the math. Just throw out some numbers. There's no right or wrong answer. Just throw out some numbers. Got 100, 50, 200, 30, 100. Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer, but let me just give you the averages with us, because most people think it's a lot more than you actually need. So to make $1 million of income at 6% commission, you need 16.7, so about 17 million in assets to brought in. Our average ticket size for FIAs with 5Q now is 296. That means you need to bring on 56 new clients. So if you only need to get, if you have a 90% closing ratio, how many people do you need to get in front of in a year? In reality, if you're good at this, how many people do you need to get in front of a year? Yeah, 60. Now we're going to show you how to get in front of way more than that, which means you should be making way more than that. But guys, if you're good at closing tire kickers, plate lickers, people who love their advisor, people who are do-it-yourself, if you're good at closing those people, how hard is it to get in front of 56, 60, 70, 80 people a year? Is that a hard or easy thing to do? It's not that hard. It's very easy. But what we do is when we do marketing, we start to say, oh, the marketing is bad. And why do we say the marketing is bad? Because it's not getting in front of you people, or because of why? Why do we say, not you guys, why does the average advisor outside of 5Q say the marketing's bad? Why are they saying the marketing is bad? You say, well, I got you in front of, everybody's getting the right answer. They can't close. They're playing the blame game. But why are they saying the marketing's bad? Why is advisors that aren't in 5Q saying the marketing's bad? Because I say, listen, you're getting in front of people, but what do they say? The people are not what? You guys are all getting the right answer because they don't have the right skills to close. They're blaming everybody else. But what they're saying is the people aren't any good. At 5Q, we realize you're right. The prospects aren't any good, and we don't expect them to be good. We just have the skills to close those people who aren't any good, the tire kickers, plate lickers, the do-it-yourselfers, the people who already love their advisor and have a 15-year relationship with their advisor. We have the skills and the tools to convert them to become our clients, not with some of their money, but with all the money. We love Millen, exactly right. We love tire kickers. Make sense? So let's talk about the marketing program. So I used I apologize for using sports analogies, but that's kind of the background I came from. So when your kids, if your kid was in second grade and you put them up against a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, how long are they going to stay in baseball? If the first experience they have with a baseball is a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, how long are they going to? Yeah, that's right, one pitch, and then they're out. So we start out the second graders with what? Kids with no skills whatsoever with a ball on a tee. And then we go to coach pitch. And I've done coach pitch, and for those of you that have done coach pitch, how easy are you trying to make it for the kid to be able to hit the ball? Are we trying to throw curve balls or fake them out? No, we try to make it super, super easy to hit the ball. And it's only at that point then we start to introduce them to what? Real, their own skill level throwing the pitches themselves. So there's a stage 1, a stage 2, and a stage 3 to teaching our kids baseball or hitting. So we're going to have the same thing when it comes to marketing. So the way I would say this is when somebody first comes onto the system, how good are they at the 21-point checklist? Are they at the 100-mile-an-hour fastball or are they at the tee? They're poor. That's right. So we want them to do the stage 1, and it's going to be leads. And we're going to talk about leads and why these. I'm not a big fan of leads, but these have been tested, and I'm going to talk about how we tested them to make sure that they work. But leads come in not all at once. They come in drips and drabs here and there, and it gives you time to experiment with people. They're cheap. They're easy. They come in at a slow pace. Why would we want these when you're first learning this? Why would you want the leads to come in at a slow pace? That's right. So that you could use every single one of them to get better. Doing your 15-minute drill, doing your tape review, so that your next one is even better, and the next one is even better, and the next one is even better. That's exactly right. You're getting it all right. Then what we do is we go when you only so this is when you're first being exposed to the 21. You could actually do the 21 light with the leads if you needed to. Then when you get better with the 21-point checklist, you've learned the scripts, you've gone through the tutorials, and you know the scripts, but you haven't mastered them. You've got a good working knowledge of them. Then we're going to do events. And why do we want to do events at that point? Have you mastered, the first time you've gone through and done the tutorials, have you mastered those? You may have mastered them with yourself, but have you mastered them in front of real people yet? No, you just have a good working knowledge of them, but you need to get in front of some real people to do that with. So with the events, you're in front of what at a time? A few or a big chunk of people? Which is going to give you a lot of exposure to the 21-point checklist, real people. Then after you do that event, then what you've now hopefully, after getting in front of and doing, say 20, after an event, you do 20 21-point checklists, full 21-point checklists with people. Where should your skill levels be if you're doing the 15-minute drill and doing the tape reviews at the end of that event? Very, very good or close to mastering. At which point you can do what? At which point you can do what? The one-on-ones, the eye-to-eye, which is the coup de grace. That's, because then you should only be doing the one-on-ones. The eye-to-eye are getting people in front of millions of dollars, but you got to be excellent at the 21-point checklist before you do that. So with leads, you don't need to be very good at all because you're not spending very much money, and it's a good way to practice. And then you get in front of, and before we do leads, who's the first people we should practice on, guys? Before we do the leads, who's the first people we should practice on? Our clients, because if we truly believe in the 21-point checklist, at least the non-financial things, we need to do them with our clients first. Then we could be running these leads at the same time in conjunction. You don't have to wait. You could start that right away. Then you do the events to try out after you've learned the 21-point checklist scripts, to try out your skills and make sure that you're and work out the smooth out the rough edges of it. At which point you then can do the one-on-one. Now, stage 1 is for people. The leads are for people who have greater than or equal to very little knowledge of the 21. Stage 2 is for people that have okay knowledge of the 21. They've gone through the tutorials. They have a working knowledge of it. They can actually go through it. Now, you may have mastered it, and I want you to master it with the tutorials, but you still have to you've done it by yourself. You have to get in front of real people. I mean, being in a batting cage and being in front of a real person, the same thing or different? Learning the 20-point checklist scripts is like being in a batting cage. We need to get in front of real people. So now when you get to this point, when you get to stage 2, it says greater than or equal to knowledge. Greater than or equal to knowledge. What do you think you should do with stage 1 once you get to stage 2? Keep doing it. Yeah. If you've gotten to the point that you have okay knowledge with the 20-point checklist, should you stop seeing these good leads? No. Get more leads. Then at stage 3, once you get excellent knowledge of 21, greater than or equal to, what should you? This is when you're doing the eye to eye. What should you do with stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3 when you're doing the eye to eye? If you want to make $1 million, what should you be doing? Keep doing all of them. Exactly. You do all of them, because then you have 3 ATMs. Anytime you want more money with the lead systems, you ask for more leads. Anytime you want more money from the seminars, you do another seminar. Anytime you want more money from the eye to eye, you do another eye to eye. So you got 3 ATMs at that point. So do you think you're going to have any problem getting in front of? If we need to close 56 new people a year, do you think between those stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, we're going to have any problem getting you in front of somewhere between 56 and 100 people a year? Yeah, and 100 is low. We're probably going to get you closer to that 300 people a year. Make sense? Yeah, 300 is more like it. So these are the 3 things that you should be doing. This is going to give you 3 ATMs, and the only way this is going to work is if you do what, guys? The only way these marketing things are going to work is if you do what? Master the 21. I agree with that, Millen. Master 20. Everybody's getting Master 21. But more importantly, if you're not closing this many people, you need to what? You need to go out and kick your cat and say the marketing isn't working, or you need to do what? Reach out. Jeff and I will help you close those people that you thought were unclosable. Make sense? So I know we had to kind of run through this very quickly. Probably what we'll do is we'll give you, would it make sense for us to give you a week or so to digest all of this and then have a question answer session and kind of go through this stuff again on marketing, or you want to, have we covered it, or you all want to do that again? So do you want us to do that again then? Next week or 2 weeks from now? Give me some. 2 weeks, okay? 2 weeks. Everybody saying 2 weeks? Okay, everybody's good? Good. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and let you digest it, and then 2 weeks we'll circle back with the marketing, okay? And then hopefully will generated some good questions that we can kind of answer at that point as well. Okay? So thanks for, guys, get good at do all the things that we've asked you to do. You didn't. I am so excited because last year was the biggest year. We had more people learn the 21 than we've ever had in 18 years. Now this year, we're getting you in front of all the people you need to make that, to put your income, not your marketing, put your income on steroids. So we're really excited. Make sure that you're using us. Make sure if you have any stumbling blocks, you reach out. I know that you're islands out there. You're not an island. You got ECA, you got 5Q to help you out. We're your team. If things aren't working the way they're supposed to be working, call us. Reach out, okay? So we're excited about 2018. Thanks for being on the call, and we'll talk to you all next week. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.